Her fellow stood back in the gloom, nervously smoking a cigarette. "Can we go now, guard?" he said to Jenkins in a low, worried voice. Jenkins peered at him, trying to make out his features, but the moonlight did not penetrate that far under the tree. He seemed a good deal older than the girl, middle-aged, in fact, a married man, and she his bit on the side. He turned his attention back to the girl. "What time was it you found him?" "Time?" the girl said, as if she did not recognize the word. There was a wobble in her voice. "It's all right, miss," Jenkins said gently, not quite knowing what the words were supposed to mean. It was the kind of thing detectives in the movies said, and then turned businesslike again. "You phoned straight away, did you, after you found him?" He glanced at the man in the shadows. "She had to go down nearly to Paget Street before she could find a phone that worked," the man said. He had given his name, but Jenkins had immediately forgotten it. Wallace? Walsh? Something like that. "And you stayed here?" "I thought I'd better keep an eye on the body." Right, Jenkins thought, in case it might get up out of the water and walk away. Making sure not to be the one to make the phone call, more like. Afraid of being asked who he was and what he'd been doing on the canal bank at this hour of the night in the company of a girl half his age. A car passing by slowed down, the driver craning to see what was going on, his eager face at the window ashy and round, like the moon. The girl had permed hair and wore a tartan skirt with a big ornamental safety pin in it, and flat-heeled shoes. She kept clearing her throat and squeezing the hanky convulsively. She had the man's jacket draped over her shoulders. The man had on a Fair Isle sleeveless sweater. The night was mild, for April, but he would be cold, all the same. A display of chivalry. In that case, he must certainly be her fancy man. "Do you live nearby?" Jenkins asked. "I have a flat over there in Leeson Street, above the chemist's," the girl said, pointing. The man said nothing, only sucked on the butt of his cigarette, the tip flaring in the dark, and throwing an infernal glow upwards over his face. Small, bright, anxious eyes. A big nose like a potato. 45 if he was a day. The girl was hardly more than 21. "The guard here will take your details," Jenkins said. He turned and called to Quinlan, who was squatting on the canal bank, looking down into the water and playing his flashlight over the floating body. He had found nothing round about, no clothes, no belongings. So whoever it was down there must have been brought here from somewhere else. Quinlan straightened and came towards them. The man stepped quickly from under the tree and put a hand on Jenkins's arm. "Listen," he said urgently. "I'm not supposed to be here. I mean, I'll be missed at home this late." He looked into Jenkins's face meaningfully, attempting a man-to-man smile, but the one he managed was sickly. "Give your name and address to the guard," Jenkins said stiffly. "Then you can go." "Is it all right if I give my office address? Just so long as it's somewhere we can contact you." "I'm a surveyor," the man said, as if he expected this to be a significant factor in the night's events. His smile kept flickering on and off like a faulty light bulb. "I'd be grateful if—" They turned at the sound of heavy steps behind them. Hendricks was coming down the cinder bank from the road, accompanied by a heavy-set man with an enormous head and no hat. The man was wearing a striped pajama top under his jacket. It was the lock-keeper. "Jesus Christ!" he said without preamble, addressing Jenkins. "Do you know what hour it is?" Jenkins ignored the question. "We need the water level up," he said. "You'll have to do it slowly. There's a body in there." As he moved away, the man Walsh, or Wallace, tried to pluck at his sleeve again to detain him, but was ignored. The lock-keeper went to the edge of the canal bank and leaned forward with his hands on his knees and squinted down at the body. "Jesus," he said.